Okay, everybody, I'm Ara Young, Assistant Director of the Center for Graduate Life. I'm sure you've all heard from me a number of times. I see a lot of familiar names here, so welcome everybody. And a big welcome and a big thank you to Mr. Raju Mahajan, who is an employment-based attorney and investment-based attorney. He's helped a lot of people get green cards all over the US. And he himself received his own green card back in 2014. So he's very knowledgeable about all of these matters. Let's see, he's an expert, me not being an international here, I don't know all this stuff, but he's an expert in EB1, EB2, EB5, E2, asylum, and family-based green card application. I guess without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Mahajan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Young, for introducing me in a very nice way. Thanks everybody who joined today. I hope you all can hear me. And let me share my screen. Before starting our webinar, let me tell a few sentences about me and the way Dr. Young said, yes, I came to this country as an international student back in 2021. And I got my master's in media studies. And after getting master's, I applied for green card under NIW, EB2 NIW. And luckily my application was approved. And then I went to law school. I graduated with law school, took the bar exam. And initially I had no plan to practice immigration law, but I'm an immigrant by myself. I got my green card through one very famous immigration category. At the same time, I have a lot of friends and family. They live in America. They need immigration related help. So I started helping them, and I became an immigration attorney right now. So I help almost every kind of immigration cases, especially for employment-based cases where a majority of you will need help in future. And I also got green card in the same way. So my situation, my journey was very similar to most of your journey. And that's why I know how it feels to be an international student, what are the steps necessary for getting green cards, and how the process can be very easy if you know things in advance rather than you start knowing things at the time you will start processing. So I encourage all of you to think about immigration before graduation. Because when you're done with your graduation, you have very limited time to process many things. So the more you'll know before graduation will be definitely helpful for your journey towards getting a green card. So let's start our session. And first, I will describe almost everything that you need to know. However, we have a limited time, so I will try my best to keep everything within like 25 to 35 minutes. And then if you have any question, I'll try my best to answer all those questions. One thing I want to mention here that this is not a legal advice. What we are doing here is just a information session, because legal advice is based on a specific situation for a specific client, and it must be within a very limited space. That means like I cannot share somebody's legal advice with someone else. So if you need legal advice, you have to talk one-on-one with me, not today. All the discussion we'll do today is a seminar, it's an open space, all the information is public information. So if you want to share your personal information, personal fact with me in this open discussion, I'm okay with that. But if you do not want to share your personal information in this public place, that's up to you. As a lawyer, I would advise you to make sure that this is not a legal advice. This is just a open discussion. So I am just following my duty. However, this difference between legal advice and open discussion is very like a legal kind of difference. You don't have to worry about that. This is just, we are bound to disclose this upfront. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, let's start. So immediately after graduation, these are the things everybody will start. Like the first one is OPT. And I am not talking detail about OPT because of two reasons. Number one, it's very easy to do it, just one form. I-765. At the same time, most of the universities, including UNCC, have international office to help with this application. So, you do not need a lawyer or anybody because you have free service in your school. Also, if you want to do it yourself, it's very easy. It's just one form. And to get OPT, you need a job. It could be paid, unpaid, full-time, part-time, even some like a voluntary kind of work. It doesn't have to be paid job. So the first one, usually easy to get, and almost everybody, like I would say 99% people after their graduation get OPT unless there is some mistake. After 1 year of OPT, those who are STEM students, science, technology, mathematics student, they get 2 more years of extension. And to get this extension, you must have a paid job. So this is the first time some of the people, they encounter some problems because some people, they don't get paid jobs. So it's kind of hard. Sometimes it's easy to get jobs. So it depends on the situation. But one very important information is to get OPT extension, you must have a paid job. And it's better if the company is E-verified. Most of the companies are E-verified nowadays from the US government, but some startup companies, small corporations, they are not E-verified. So before applying for OPT extension, they must be E-verified. But I'm pretty sure you do not have to worry about those situations. The employer, they know this and they will take care. So within this OPT extension period, a lot of people, they go for H-1B. And I put H-1B/EB to NIW. However, in a lot of time, you do not need to go to OPT extension. You can directly apply for NIW. I will talk detailed NIW later in this discussion. So first, I'm talking about H-1B. So there are 2 different kinds of H-1B. One is for-profit corporations H-1B, and one is non-profit corporations H-1B. So non-profit corporation means like universities, state government, federal government, any kind of charity organization, any kind of organization that do not take profit out of the company. It could be church, it could be any religious institution, it could be anybody. So the good thing about non-profit organizations H-1B is there is no quota and there is no lottery system. So let's say after your graduation, while you are in OPT, you got a job in a university. Then university can directly apply for your H-1B anytime. They don't need to apply in a specific time or they need to go through the lottery system. I will explain the lottery system in the next slide. However, if you get a job in a for-profit corporation, let's say Google, Microsoft, or any small startup company, then if they want to apply for H-1B, there is a quota. And in every year, there's a lot of way more people apply for H-1B than the quota number. That's why the government does a random lottery system. And those who are picked in the lottery, they can move forward. And those who are not picked in the lottery, their application is dead at this point. And I see a lot of people, they're not picked and they're very sad. So please be aware that those who have like an OPT extension, like a STEM OPT, they have 3 chances. Every year there's one lottery. So you have total 3 years. You have 3 chances. If you are not picked within this 3 times, then you are out of luck. So a lot of people, they think like, okay, I have been picked in the lottery, so I have H-1B. That's not true. Just because you have been picked in the lottery does not mean you have H-1B. You have been picked in the lottery, that means you can move forward with your H-1B application. Then you have to apply for actual H-1B application. And in general, those who have been picked get H-1B. However, sometimes some people, they mess up with their application and some people's application is rejected. I hear some noise. Okay, I think the noise is gone. Okay, so yes, as I said, H-1B, just because you have been picked in the lottery doesn't mean you have H-1B. You have to actually apply for H-1B and get approved. Usually every year to apply for H-1B, first you have to apply before April because the lottery is in the first day of April. And usually you will get notified whether you have been picked or not in the mid-May kind of time, and then they will give you like 30 days or 45 days to apply for H-1B. You will apply again, and usually they will approve you by October that you can start your work from November. This is kind of like the usual trend. Sometimes it's more or less sometimes. Another important information about H-1B is that just because you have H-1B does not mean that you are a permanent resident in America. H-1B is nothing more than giving you some time to apply for green card. So H-1B is nothing more than granting you 3 and 3, 6 years. You just get a special permit to stay in America and work for 6 years. That's all H-1B is. This is not a green card. So once you have H-1B, you have 6 years, so you have to apply for green card. And then there's like many ways to apply for green card. I will explain most of the common ways after like a couple slides. But I'm saying, so after H-1B, green card application, and once you have green card approved, then you have to wait 5 years to apply for citizenship. And when you get citizenship, then you become US citizen and your journey for immigration is over. And most of the time, usually when they become citizens, they're already exhausted because it's a huge process and it's a very time consuming, it's a very money consuming process, and people get bored. But this is the process and we all need to go through this. As I said, without H-1B, you can directly apply for green card. Even before graduation, even immediately after graduation, you can apply through NIW, you can apply through regular EB-2. In those cases, you do not need to go to H-1B. You can directly apply for those visas categories. I will explain that in a minute. Dr. Yang, can you please go to the next slide? Thank you. So as I said, H-1B has lottery system. There's a quota. I think right now there is a total is like around 85,000 people. They get picked every year. I think 65,000 for everybody, and 20,000 for higher studies like a master's and PhD. So like a special kind of. So total is like 85,000 people picked up every year, but more than 200,000, 300,000 people apply every year. So there's a huge competition to get picked up. That's why a lot of people, they like nonprofit organizations, especially university, because it's easy to apply for H-1B and get approved very easily. As I said, it only grants you 6 years, 3 years. After 3 years, you have to apply for renewal. Total, you will get 6 years. Technically, after 6 years, there is another law. It's called AC-21, American Opportunity 21. So within that law, you can stay beyond 6 years, but those are like for the special situation. I'm not going that deep in this discussion today because most of you are international students right now, so you don't have to know all these things that you may need to go through after 6 years. I'm just describing situations that you may need immediately after graduation. However, just saying just because your 6-year period for H-1B is over and you did not get green card doesn't mean that everything is over. You will still have ways to follow. Other than H-1B, you can directly apply for green cards. So there are EB-1, EB-2, EB-3, EB-4, EB-5. There's many things, but for international students, in most cases, you need either EB-1 or EB-2 or EB-3. EB-4 is for religious workers. EB-5 is for investment visas. I'm not going to discuss those things in this discussion. And within EB-2, there's two main groups. One is like a regular EB-2, one is NIW. So I will discuss those differences in a minute. Dr. Yang, can you please go to the next slide? Thank you. So first, EB-1. Within EB-1, there are 3 categories. And I'm sorry, in this immigration kind of discussion, there's like many categories and categories within categories and within categories. So it's kind of like sometimes it's kind of very confusing. So I believe after today's discussion, you will get this slide. All of you will get a copy of this slide. So please go through this. And there's a lot of videos online, in YouTube. There's a lot of blogs in Google. You can, familiar yourself. I have a YouTube, so you can, search my name in YouTube and find it and watch some videos. So I hope these will be helpful, but I'm just, discussing very basic things here today. So within EB-1, there is three categories. One is extraordinary ability, one is outstanding professors and researchers, and number three is certain multinational managers or executives. So the first one, extraordinary ability, is actually for famous people, like, famous actor, famous gymnast, famous sports person, famous journalist, famous something. Like anybody who is like a very famous person, they can apply under extraordinary ability. And usually it is not for international students. It's not for students or professors or researcher kind of person. However, sometimes some professors and some researchers are very famous in their field. Let's say one professor, he is like a genius professor in theoretical physics, and everybody in the world of theoretical physics knows that, oh my God, he's a great. So he can actually apply for this, the first category, extraordinary ability. In most cases, most of the professors and researchers, they don't qualify for the first one. It's for famous people. The second one is specifically for professors and researchers. I will discuss that in a minute. And the third one, certain multinational managers or executives. This category is for, as I said, multinational managers or executives of multinational companies. Let's say Google Corporation. Google has many different offices all over the world. Let's say one person, he is a chief marketing manager in Google's Berlin office, and Google want to transfer him to San Francisco office. So they can apply for green card for this person under this EB1C category. And usually, when people work for Google, Microsoft, Toyota, Samsung kind of companies, it's very easy for them to get green card and move to America. So this category is for multinational managers or executives. Dr. Yang, can you please go to the next slide? So this one, as I said, outstanding professors and researchers is very important for most of you guys, because one day you will graduate with your PhD, you become assistant professor, or you start working in a research organization like national labs and other things. So you can apply for this category. And in my opinion, for people who are professors and researchers, this is the best category, because number one, this is very prestigious. Number two, people from certain countries, they need to wait long time to get green card, like Mexico, India, China, Philippines. People from those countries, it's very hard for them to get green card because there's a huge wait period. However, if somebody from those countries apply under EB1B, these outstanding professors and researchers, they don't have to wait. Sometimes they may need to wait like 6 months, 1 year, not much, but in most of the time, they don't need to wait at all. So this is kind of like, the best category for those who qualify. So the question is, what are the qualifying requirements? For professors, here is like 6 criteria in the slide. So definitely you have to meet 2 of those 6 criteria, but there is 2 major things you must know before thinking of applying under EB1B. Number one, for professors, you must be a tenured or tenured track professor. Not just, not that if you're like a temporary hired, if you're an adjunct professor, you cannot apply. You must be a tenured or tenured track professor. And another important information is your employer have to apply for you. So let's say you work, in a UNCC. So actually the university must apply for you. You cannot apply by yourself. For researchers, it must be a full-time regular job. It cannot be like most of the postdocs do not qualify as researchers. So it must be a full-time job. It must be a regular job. So postdocs are technically, they're not international students. It's a job, but it's not a full-time job. It's not a regular job. So most of the some postdocs, they qualify, but most of them, they don't qualify. This category is actually for research organizations, like those national labs, and even some big corporations, they have their R&D department. So let's say one person, he works for Google's R&D. He will qualify as a researcher because it's a full-time position, it's a regular job. So Many international students, especially those who are in postdoc program, they ask me whether they qualify or not. Unfortunately, in most cases, they do not qualify. But some postdoc positions are designed in a way that it will qualify as a researcher position, but in most cases, it's not. Dr. Young, next slide, please. Thank you. So this is for the those famous people's application. So there's 10 criteria. You must meet 3 of these. However, we recommend you to meet at least 5. That would be very good for you. However, if you just meet 3, you can apply. But extraordinary ability visa EB1A is probably not very necessary for you as an international student. If any of you have any extraordinary ability back in your home country, you can please contact me. I will see if you qualify for this. But as an international student, you don't qualify for this because you must be like a famous something. Dr. Young, next slide, please. All right, so this is EB2. And in my opinion, 90 or 95% students, international students who come to America, they get green card through this EB2 categories. So that's why this category is very important for you. And I request all of you to pay extra attention because in my opinion, majority of you must go through this channel. So under EB2, there is 2 major categories. One is regular EB2, another one is NIW. NIW stands for National Interest Waiver. Good thing about NIW is you can apply by yourself. You do not need help from your employer. Technically, you do not need any employment at all. Let's say one person, he's a PhD student in 4th year. He already has a lot of publication, a lot of citation. He got some fellowship, some awards from the school, very good profile. He can apply for NIW when he's a 4th year PhD student. He can get approved and he can get green card even before his graduation. That is like the best case scenario. And historically, this category was kind of like tougher back before 2016, because before 2016, the requirement was that you must show that if you leave America, it would be detrimental to the American interest. However, in 2016, there was a very famous case, and the judge said, no, you do not have to show that if you leave America, it would be detrimental to US interest. You have to show that if you stay in America, it would be beneficial to US interest. So the whole dynamic has been changed, and now it's way easier to prove that you are a person who will benefit America. And it's very easy to show because America is a big country. It's America has interest almost everywhere. So anybody who has a PhD degree has 4 or 5 publication, 10, 15 citation. It's very easy to show that this person is a person who will benefit America, American economy, American society, American anything. That's why right now NIW is very easy to apply. However, that comes with a negative thing. People from all over the world, people from China, India, Brazil, Mexico, Bangladesh, Japan, Korea, everywhere applying for NIW because number 1, you do not need a job. Number 2, you do not need to be in America. You can apply from anywhere, and it doesn't cost a lot to apply for NIW. So a lot of people are applying. Next slide, please. Yes. So a lot of people are applying for NIW from all over the world. That creates some problem because there's a huge competition. However, good thing is most of the people who has a PhD degree from America has some good number of publication citation. I would say you have 98 to 99% chance that your NIW application will be approved. I will discuss detail about NIW later. Now I'm talking about regular EB2. So to apply for regular EB2, you must be either of these 2. Number 1, advanced degree. You must have either advanced degree or exceptional ability. Most of the regular EB2 application goes through advanced degree, and advanced degree is master's or upper degree. So anybody who has a master's degree or a PhD degree or postdoc or any degree, anything above master's, you qualify as a advanced degree holder and you can apply for regular EB2. Similarly, exceptional ability, I will show you a slide about exceptional ability. There's like a 6 criteria. If you meet 3 of those, you were designated as an exceptional ability person. But if you have a master's degree, you're good to go. The negative thing about regular EB2 is you must have a job and your employer must apply for you. You cannot apply by yourself. So let's say after your graduation, you are in OPT, you get a job with a startup company. It's a very new startup company, and they agreed to apply for EB2 application. Then you're good to go. You can start the process. The employer can start the process, but you cannot apply by yourself. So that is the big difference between NIW and regular EB2. NIW, you can apply by yourself, but you must prove that you are a person of interest to America. For regular EB2, you cannot apply by yourself. Your employer must apply, but you don't have to show that you are a person of interest. However, if any company hires you, definitely you are a qualified person. Otherwise, no company will hire you. So technically, you are, in both cases, you are a person of interest for America. Dr. Young, next slide, please. All right, so these are the steps for regular EB2. So let's say after your graduation, you got a job with, SoFi, the financial technology company. Those who follow stock market, SoFi is, doing a lot of great things. I'm just giving an example. It could be, Google, Microsoft, Adobe, and anything. Let's say SoFi. You got a job with SoFi, and they agreed to apply for you. So in most cases, they will say, hey, you have to go through H-1B. However, it is not necessary to go through H-1B. They can directly apply for a green card through regular EB2, but in most cases, companies will take you through H-1B because they want to keep you for a long time. H-1B is like 6 years. So they will keep you at least 4 years under H-1B, and then they will apply for green card because, they want to keep you. Because in most cases, people who get green card from a company, they switch to another company. So that's why companies want to keep you in your position for a long time. So these are the 3 steps for regular EB2 application, green card application. The first step is PERM. So labor certification is actually a part of the PERM process. I'll show you in the next slide, but a lot of people call it labor certification process, but its actual name is PERM process. The second step is I-140. This is the immigration petition. And stage 3 is I-485 application to adjust status. So stage 3 is actual green card application. People from most of the countries, they can apply I-140 and I-485 together. So technically, this is like second step. But people from some other countries like China, India, Mexico, Philippines, and some, I think Colombia and a couple other countries, they cannot apply I-140 and I-485 together. So officially it's like 3 steps, but in most cases it's like a 2 step. First step, PERM process. Second step, I-140 and I-485 together. I-140, you can apply as with a premium processing. So under premium processing, under regular EB2, it will take like 3 weeks to 4 weeks to approve. However, for NIW, there is no premium processing. So for NIWs, I-140 takes around 8-9 months to 1 year sometime. But for regular EB2, there's a premium processing. So that will take 3-4 weeks. However, there is no premium processing for I-485. So even though, let's say you applied I-140 and I-485 together and you did premium processing for I-140. So your I-140 got approved, but your I-485 is still pending. So that's why sometimes premium processing is not that beneficial compared to its filing fee of $2,500. But some people want peace of mind and they say, you know what, $2,500 is not a matter. I want to do it premium processing because I want to get it approved quicker. And I totally understand. So if anybody asks me, what do you suggest? I explain, both positive and negative things. And I said, hey, at the end of the day, it's your decision. If you say that, yes, peace of mind is more important than $2,500, go for it. If you think that, nah, it's okay, I will wait, a couple more months and I will take the regular processing, that's okay too. Dr. Young, next slide, please.
Actually, I was thinking, Mr. Mahajan, if you could answer a couple questions that the students have in their chat in the meantime, or tries to figure things out. I think that would be great.
Sure. Yeah. So another problem, the chat window is very small. Can somebody read?
Yeah. Yes, I can read.
Yeah. Okay.
So one student asked, how many citations do you need for this application?
Oh, that's a very good question. And I had a plan to discuss this later, but yeah. So there is no magic number for publication or citation. It depends on your field. In some fields, like 50 publication and 200 citation is a normal number. In some fields, 3 publication is a lot. Like let's say chemistry, theoretical chemistry, or like organic chemistry. 3-4 publication is a lot, and like 10-12 citation is a lot. So it depends on your field. So how do you know whether your publication number of publication or citation is enough or it's like above average? So let me tell you how USCIS does this kind of thing. So whenever anybody applies for NIW, first it is judged by a regular USCIS official, and he or she just see whether whether every element is there or not. Then they send it to an expert committee, and expert committee must have one expert in your field. So let's say one applicant, he's from organic chemistry department. So there must be one expert from organic chemistry and 4 experts from other fields. Somebody could be literature, sociology, computer science, artificial intelligence, like physics or other thing. So this expert from your field will explain what is the situation in this field. So definitely expert knows everything, almost everything from the field. So how you will know whether your number of publication or citation is sufficient? What you have to do is you have to find 10 or 12 people from your field who graduated recently and ask them, hey, how many publications you have? How many citations you have? And do some average and say there's like a 3 publication average and 7 citation average. And you have more than that, then you're good. If you have under the average, then your application is, then your number of publication and citation is not good. I understand this is a very manual process and it's not very scientific. However, good thing is there's one website called US News. They sometimes publish average number of publication and citation for graduating year on like a common subjects like computer science, electrical engineering. In this kind of field, you will find some numbers, some research. What is the average number of publication citation in your field? In most of the cases, you will not find anything in online. So you have to do it by yourself. So the short answer to your question is there is no magic number. It depends on your field. If your number of publication and citation is above average, then your application would be better. If your number is below average, then it would be not good compared to other people.
Okay, so the next question, I think you already answered this one. What is the cutoff of achievements to be that you need to have if you want to apply for as a professor or researcher?
Can you please read the question again? What is
so what are the cutoff of achievements that you must have to apply as a professor or researcher category?
There is no cutoff. So it's kind of like this kind of applications. These are not like it's not like a quantitative kind of data. Like you must have 5 awards or 10 awards. All of these are like very qualitative. Like let's say one person has one research grant from a very prestigious federal government organization, and it's like a very like let's say right now it's electrical vehicle is a big thing right now. So some person is doing a research, or someone got one grant from Tesla about something which is very prestigious. On the other hand, somebody has 10 grants from not reputed organizations, not very not very current sensational topic. So compared to that 10, this one is very important. So it depends on the time, depends on the subject, depends on what you have. It's a very it's a very subjective thing. So it's very hard to say, okay, this is the cutoff number. So there is no cutoff number. It's very depending on situation.
Okay, so next, is the lottery system going to be replaced by wage-based system for H-1B this year?
So thank you so much for asking this question. And unfortunately, every year we hear a lot of news about immigration from a lot of places. Like Congress will say something, Senate will say something, President's office will say something, and some immigration advocacy group will say something. Unfortunately, there has been very low changes. Almost everything is going on every year. So you will hear a lot of things, but unless it has been implemented, we cannot say when it will be implemented. So every year we say, oh, this lottery system is 100% luck. It's not fair to smart students, meritorious students. We must implement something that will actually judge people's merit, actually see whether this person is important for America or not. But unless it is implemented, I don't know when it will be implemented. I hear the same thing, the thing you hear, but I don't know when it will be. And honestly, in my opinion, I don't see within the next 4 or 5 years anything would be changed.
Next question: if the PhD student transfer major, then the papers which they published and are the papers that are related to the previous major can be accounted. Can they be accounted when she wants her to apply for NIW?
It's another very common and very good question. So it depends on, so let's say, I'm just giving an example. Let's say one person has a master's degree in physics, and because of some reason, he decided, okay, I'll do my PhD in chemistry. I understand it doesn't happen pretty often, but I'm just giving an example. So master's degree in physics, PhD in chemistry. Luckily, he is doing some kind of research that has some kind of connection with his master's thesis, like his thesis in physics. Then yes, it will be acceptable. We can submit copy of that, or like summary of that, and get some recommendation letter from his professors from his master's institution. In most cases, when people switch subject, they don't have any kind of connection with the previous one. So if they do not have any kind of connection, then we cannot submit anything from the previous. So with my example, let's say he's doing his PhD in chemistry and his research for PhD is totally 100% disconnected from his master's work. That we cannot submit anything from previous degree, previous experience. So the short answer to the question is, if the both degrees are somehow connected, then yes. If the degrees are not connected at all with the current work, then no.
Next question is it allowed for companies to apply for green card EB2 during OPT, skipping H-1B?
Can you please read again?
Is it allowed for the companies to apply for a green card, that is through EB2, during OPT without going through H-1B?
The question is it allowed, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is 100% allowed. So let me give you an example. One person graduated with degree from university with a PhD degree and got a job in a Google corporation. Google can definitely apply directly for EB2 green card application. They do not need to go through OPT, OPT extension, H-1B, nothing. They can directly apply. And frankly speaking, this big corporation, Google, Microsoft, they bring a lot of people from foreign countries directly with this green card application. They don't go through H-1B other thing. However, in most cases, companies do not like to do that, because if they start application for green card, if you get green card, you will probably leave them. So they would like to go through OPT extension, H-1B, all the things, and then finally green card. So the short answer, yes, they are 100% allowed to apply directly for EB2 green card.
Do we have to have publications relevant to our degree?
You do not have to have. It's not mandatory. However, publication is very good tools for many significant parts for NIW application. Number one is, for NIW application, you must show that you are a person of interest for America. Your work would benefit America. So let's say you have 5 publications, and most of the publications are pretty significant kind of publication. So you can show, okay, I have 5 publications, and this work may have impact in this field. So it's easy to show that your work has actual practical implication and it will benefit America. Similarly, for NIW application, you must show that your work has been recognized by your peer. So most of the publication is in peer-reviewed journal, is judged by other professors and like editor kind of person. So it's very easy for us to show that, okay, his work has been judged and recognized by the peer. However, if you do not have any publication, yes, you are probably working in a good company, you have some work experience, but it's very hard to show that your work has direct impact on US, not just a company. Here is a very significant difference between have impact on United States versus have impact on a company. Let's say one person, he is a professor of UNC Charlotte. So what is his actual contribution to the country? Probably he's teaching a few hundred students in UNCC and have like a distinct and very like an indirect contribution to America. On the other hand, somebody has researched and developed a technology that has direct implication to US economy. So in all those things, publication is very helpful to demonstrate that you have significant contribution, your work has been recognized by the peer, you are doing good research because that's why your publication has been published. So without publication, it is kind of hard to establish all those things. But short answer to your question, no, publication is not mandatory.
Okay, so next question is, if someone applies for EB2 NIW-based GC application, green card application, when they are still a F1 student, what are the main complications?
Good question, thank you. So NIW application has two steps. The first one is I-140. That is kind of like the main application, to show that you're a good student, you have achieved a lot of things, you have publication, citation, all the things. And the second one is I-485 application, which is just forms, and that is actual green card application. So the first application, I-140, has no impact at all on anything. So you are an F1 student, you applied for I-140, you can travel outside, you can get admission to another school, you can go to OPT, you can go for OPT extension, you can do everything as an international student, as if I-140 does not exist at all. However, if you apply for I-485, then officially you are no longer an international student. I mean, you're definitely an international student, but in terms of immigration, you exposed your immigrant intent. So while your I-485 is pending, you cannot travel outside, you cannot apply for OPT, you cannot apply for OPT extension, you cannot move to any non-immigrant visa. That's why while the I-485 is pending, we separately apply for travel document that you can travel outside. We apply for employment authorization that you can employ in other areas. So just to minimize the damages by I-485 application. However, still there's no way to apply for OPT and OPT extension. So the short answer to the question is the first half of NIW application has no impact at all, but the second half has some impact. So, but it also depends on your situation. So let's say you're going to apply for OPT very soon, or you're going to apply for OPT extension very soon. In that case, we advise not to apply I-485, wait a little bit, apply OPT or OPT extension first, then apply for I-485. However, let's say you have like a 1 more year of OPT extension. Then I say, okay, one year is a long time for I-485. Let's apply for I-485. If you get approved, then you do not need OPT extension at all. And if you do not get approved, then you will be able to go for OPT extension again. So it depends on situation, but the first half has no negative impact, second half has.
Can you please shed some more light on the diversity program lottery and the relevant steps?
Thank you. So diversity visa lottery is a visa process to bring people from the countries who have less representation to America. So let's say, in America, we have a lot of European people, a lot of people from Mexico, Canada, India, Brazil, China, all those like big countries. However, let's say a country in Asia called Mongolia, there's like a very few Mongolian people living in America. So what US government determined, okay, we need people from Mongolia, just to maintain the diversity. So they introduced a lottery system. This is kind of like H-1B lottery, kind of 100% luck based. There is no merit or anything. And every year when they announce the lottery, diversity visa lottery, they specifically mentioned these are the countries from where people can participate. Not all countries are in that list. Usually like 30, 40, 50 kind of like, countries, those are less represented in America. Like I'm from Bangladesh. So Bangladesh was in that list for a long time. But I think 2012 or 13, they canceled Bangladesh because there's a lot of Bengali people living in America right at this moment. So it depends on which country you're from. And if your country is mentioned in that list, you can participate in the lottery process. I do not know directly about the application process. Last time I checked, it was like online. You have to fill up online form and submit. And if your name is picked up in the lottery, then you will apply for immigrant visa in your local US embassy in that country. Let's say you're from Burkina Faso in Africa, and your country's name is there. So you applied online, your name has been picked. You will apply for immigrant visa. The name of the form is DS-260 and some other supporting documents to US Embassy in Burkina Faso, and they will schedule an interview. You will face the interview. In most cases, those who have been picked in the lottery, they pass the interview. This is not a big interview, it's just a simple few questions. And once they approve your visa, you will come to America with a green card. That is pretty much like a diversity visa lottery program.
What are the chances for non-STEM students in NIW EBT application?
Another very good question. I applied for NIW as a non-STEM student. So it's kind of like, there's some good things, there's some bad things. Good thing is there's a lot of STEM students studying in America. There's a huge competition. There's a lot of people from science, technology kind of field. In non-STEM field, there's a less competition. There's a very few international students in non-STEM fields, like literature, sociology, social welfare kind of subject. So good thing is there's less competition. However, the bad thing is there's few bad things. Number one, you will get one OPT. That means like 1 year of OPT. So let's say you graduate today, and after 1 year, your OPT is also over. So you must stay here in America with some kind of valid visa. So you have less time to prepare yourself, submit all the documents, and you always have fear like, okay, what if my 1 year of OPT is passed? So I have to prepare for something else. So honestly, you have less time to get prepared than STEM students. Another negative thing is there's a lot of scope of publication and citation in STEM field. In non-STEM field, there's less journals, less opportunity to get published and get citation. So you will get less publication, less citation. In terms of economic impact, it is very easy to show that somebody who has a degree in, let's say, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, it's very easy to show like the dollar amount, like, hey, these guys' work will contribute America for $20 billion or like a $10 billion kind of contributions. It's easy to show. However, non-STEM students' contribution is very hard to show in terms of economy, in terms of data. So those are also the negative things. So now you can ask me, so how did you get approved NIW as a non-STEM student? So my thesis was on a folktale story in Bangladesh. Those who are from Bangladesh listening today, the name of the book is ঠাকুরমার ঝুলি. The name of the story is the stories of Lal Kamal and Nil Kamal. So when I applied for NIW as a media studies student with a master's degree, I claimed that I am the only person in America at this moment who did study ঠাকুরমার ঝুলি from an academic point of view. And that is true. And my professors, my supervisor, she wrote a huge recommendation letter, claiming a lot of good things about me. Most of those are true, not more, all of those are true. And I was the only academician at that moment studying ঠাকুরমার ঝুলি. So the good thing about in non-STEM is that if you work with some topic that is very unique, it's very easy to get attention from people in America. On the other hand, if you are a PhD student in cybersecurity or artificial intelligence, there's literally thousands and thousands of other people are working with the same field. So you are not doing anything unique. So the short answer to the question, like what are the negative things or the benefits of applying as a STEM student, non-STEM student for NIW. So if your research is very unique, let's say you are a sociology student and you're doing research in a field which is very unique, nobody ever done this before, then yes, there's a big chance that your case would be approved, because USA wants to do more things, want to do new things. However, you're a non-STEM student and your research is very common. A lot of people already did it. Then it would be very hard for you to get approved. So short answer, there are a lot of good things. There are a lot of bad things about non-STEM, but there are more negative things than positive things, in my opinion.
How much the author positions matter for NIW? If you have some publications, but most of them are as second or third authors.
Good question. So as I said before, in the final determination step of NIW, there's 5 experts, and they check everything. They check like whether, let's say you have 5 publications and all of the 5 publications are second author or third author or even like 10th author, then definitely it will carry less weight in the judgment process. However, they cannot cancel anything. They cannot say, well, you are in the 3rd author, so I'm not counting this. They cannot say that. They will definitely count it, but it will carry less weight. Another important information, let's say you have 30 citations and 25 of them are from your home country. Let's say you're from Bangladesh, and out of 30 citations, all 25 are from some people from Bangladesh. So that will also carry less weight. Also, out of 30 citations, let's say 20 is like self-citation, that will carry less weight. However, let's say you have 30 citations from 20 different countries, you only have couple self-citation, 28 are like independent citation from 15 different countries, that will carry more weight and most likely your application will be approved. So yes, definitely first author is the best option, second, third, okay. Try your best to be first author. However, there are some fields, it's virtually impossible to become first author. Let's say statistics. I talked with a couple of statistics students and they said 95% of their publication must be second or third author, because what they do, their department collaborate with other departments. So let's say one student from computer science department is publishing one journal, and this statistics student, he is helping them with the stat, and definitely his name would be second or third author, not the first. So the expert committee in NIW evaluation, like NIW judgment, they knows these things. So they will, like if somebody applies from a statistics background, definitely all of his publications should be second or third author, and they understand, and there will be no problem at all. So it depends on the situation.
Does it matter whether a company is big or small in the application of green card?
Yes, it matters. It matters from many different points of view. Number one, reputation. Let's say you work for Google Corporation and Google applied for you. 99.999% chance that the person in USCIS is looking everything, he will just approve it because okay, this is Google. There's nothing we can do. On the other hand, if it's a small company, the USCIS officer has no idea about, definitely he will read everything personally. In terms of reputation, number two is application process. So Google or big corporation, they have their own attorney, they have their huge legal team. So they're very quick, they're fast, everything would be very easy. If you work for a small company, most likely they have no attorney at all. So they will work with another attorney. So it will take a couple weeks for the attorney just to understand the business, understand the company, start everything. So from many different point of view, working for big corporation, and if they apply for you, is definitely better. Now, the question is, do all people get job with a big corporation? No, a lot of people get job with a small corporation, and that's fine too. But it will be less prestigious, and the process will take usually more time than big corporation.
Yes, next question. Since we are working remote now, while applying for the H-1B, will it be applied by the employer location or the location where you are currently working remotely from?
Employer's location. So let's say the company is in Atlanta, Georgia, but you live in Charlotte, North Carolina. So all the determining factor would be Atlanta, Georgia's information, not Charlotte, North Carolina. Only your tax matters would be determined by where you are living. But everything in the immigration purpose will be determined by the location of the company.
Does having a patent application carry any weight while applying for EB2?
NIW, yes. EB2 NIW, yes. If you have like a approved patent, that's great. If you do not have approval yet, but it's pending, that also carries a lot of weight, because patent application process by itself takes a lot of time and a lot of, it's a prestigious by itself that you have like a pending application. So yes, it will have good impact on your NIW application.
Generally speaking, what is easier to get? EB2 from postdoc with lots of papers and citations, or company job with less papers?
It depends. It's another very good question. So a lot of time, if you get a job with a company and the company is not very happy to apply for you, not willing to apply you, they want you to stay in OPT and then apply for OPT extension, H1B, they want to keep you for a long time, then it will take long time to get green card. On the other hand, NIW, it's by you're applying yourself, so you have full control over the situation. At the same time, you have to send a lot of documents, a lot of information, a lot of paperwork. So it depends on the situation, but in general, NIW takes less time than regular EB2.
Okay, so everyone, I think we are running over like 7 minutes out from our dedicated time for this session, and we're very sorry that all of these technical difficulties came up. So I believe we were a little over than halfway through the presentation. Is that correct?
Yes, almost done. And the rest half was on NIW, and I pretty much covered almost everything in the question answer section. So there are like a very few left undiscussed, but we probably discussed everything.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahajan. So basically, guys, if you have any questions, you can direct those questions to Mr. Mahajan. We'll be sending you, all of you guys, an email with the recording of the session and the presentation. So if you have any other questions, since we ran out of time, you can ask them personally, direct those questions to Mr. Mahajan through the email. And it'll also, like we said, that we're very sorry for all these technical issues that came up today. And hopefully we'll have sessions like this in the future too. So please keep your eyes open. And so that's it for now. Thank you so much, Mr. Mahajan, for helping us with all the amazing informations and everything. And of course, thank you everybody for participating in today's session. Thank you for making it successful.
I would like also to thank everyone. Thank you, Sami, for organizing this. I am Tariq Shab, the Director of International Office, and I would like to thank Mr. Mahajan for his information. So this is really helpful for our students, and we appreciate everybody's effort.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Tariq El-Shab. So basically, ISS is jointly organizing this event with us. So yeah, I forgot to mention, I think Aura mentioned it in the beginning. So we're so happy that all of you guys are here, and we're so happy to have you all. Once again, thank you, Mr. Mahajan. Thank you so much for your time and effort. And hopefully we'll meet again someday.
Thank you.
Hopefully, yeah,
Thank
we'll talk again sometime. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody.